Ooh,
That's my
that's his Waynesburg picture.
that look crazy, don't it? But look, my
All
beard
right.
it don't need to be. Look, we're gonna talk about that starting off.
Oh,
But
here
go
we go.
ahead.
Don't talk about
Oh,
that beard. That's the
you want to
holy
start off?
grail.
Let me take my page live right quick.
Talk about my beard. We're gonna talk about that.
It
Let me
says
set
we
my
live.
page live. Hold on. Let me get my joint.
Oh, that beard look a little. I do a little
Oh,
something.
man, you ain't got me in yet.
Hey, he a barber.
Yeah, that's what
Everybody don't need your services, brother. Some of us are natural.
Uh, no, people need my services. Every
I'm talking about me. Don't put me in this conversation. I'm out of it.
Did you just hear somebody say a cussing word or something?
We're
yeah, that was on my phone.
Oh, okay. I thought you was conscious.
Yeah,
oh my lord. Conscious mean you can't curse. That's
yeah. Is that
He
what that
used the
means?
he just used the N
that's
word
it.
just now. That wasn't even, that was an explicit word. It was Nigge. Ah,
How was it?
yeah. Let me see fan speed.
Yeah, peace to the family. Peace to the family. We live right now. We got a good one here for you tonight. We kind of veggie backing off of the show that we had last week with Dr. Asar, and we actually talked a lot about relationships. This is the segment that I do that I call Jabari, my JRL Jabari Relationship League, and we actually examine men and women relationships. And here we'll be examining couples. Some couples been together 30, 40, 50, some 60 years, and we want to find out what's the secret. What is it that that makes people stay together? Much of what we need in this world today. So I got my little system. I got my little yardstick that I kind of judge. How many years a person has been married to
Ain't nothing
qualify.
little about you, brother.
You
Ain't
know,
nothing little about you, brother. No little
not,
system, big
not
system, big system. I'm sorry, brother.
Dr. Saw, who fits, what I mean, because the brother actually went to school and and did get his doctor's degree. But beyond that, in my system, he's an expert also because the brother almost has 25 years of being married in general. So,
Uh-huh.
so he's high on the relationship uh he's high. He's very high on. He went to the highest level that you can go to, and he continues to go. He married his high school sweet. I told him about this a long time ago. I said, man, I got a lot of respect for you because you married your high school sweetheart, and they've been together to this day. They got 2 children. They got businesses together. Those different things. So I look at him in very high esteem, not just because of the degree that he got from the white man.
No, I got more than
Let me
one
stop.
degree.
Let
I
me
got
stop.
look,
Let me stop.
I'm like Umar Johnson. I got
Let me
3 degrees.
stop. But no, I'm very
One
proud of.
of them
But
from a black man too, by the way.
that's okay. All right, cool, cool. Now we need,
The
hey, we need as many degrees as we can get, for real, and because we got a lot of work to do in our community. But we respect that. And then we have Sister Queen that's with us today, and she has the Black Box Network that she does, and very good has had some very good shows and flows on there that I've seen so far. That man, they get on there. Her and Dr. Asar, I said
he a
they
fan.
got
He a fan.
they got club music playing on there. They got all kinds of stuff. I was like, okay, they got a little club jumping, all that. So no, we appreciate that. But yeah, so we back here this week to talk about what many talk about. They call the so-called Hoe Phase, and we talked about that last week, and a lot of people commented on that, and it seems to be something that's a really hot topic
Hmm.
in the media, or something that that we need to talk about in our community. So before I do that, also when I talk about the relationship league, also we do have many things that we got going on. I'll put the flyers up shortly, but we do have um uh brother Dr. Asar is going to be doing an actual workshop on relationships coming within the next 3 weeks. An actual workshop. This is not a lecture, but it's going to be a workshop that we're going to be having, and it's going to be at TNET. So we're going to be working, we're going to be coming together, and trying to, figure out how to make these relationships work and how to push forward. We also had before that on the 14th, Father's Day weekend, we have our dear brother Nuri Muhammad coming to town. We have brother Nuri coming to town. How to love a black woman, how to love a black man, and we'll be dealing with that. So everything that we're gonna be doing is gonna be strengthening the black community. Because to me, there's almost nothing more important than us getting our relationships together. Everywhere you turn, they got us fighting each other all over the internet. We fighting here, we fighting there, but we got to learn how to deal with the issues and come together because our community needs us to come together strong. So with that being said, peace to the family, peace to my guest that's here today. Appreciate y'all for joining us. How y'all feeling? How you feeling, Dr. Saw? Uh-oh. Can you hear him?
No.
Oh, peace, family. As I say to Brother Jabari all the time, and it's not about the degrees, as Brother Jabari says, but I do like to say I've been successfully in a marriage since I've been with my wife since I was 16. Let's just say that, right? But also, let me just say this too. In me acquiring the degrees, my relationship has even improved. So there's something about, and then also the ability to study and research these things and not just only come from an experiential perspective, but also come from a study and scientific perspective. Peace, family.
All right. Peace, Sister Queen.
It's a pleasure to be here. All of this testosterone, y'all need some estrogen in the building. So I'm here to bring that. And I'm not in a 25-year relationship. So I bring the single world to this conversation. So I think two committed folks and one single folk. It's gonna be all good. We're gonna let it rip.
It's definitely all good. Definitely all good. Have you ever been married before?
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay.
Hold up. You a good interview. I don't even know if I knew that. Hold up. Did I know that?
Yes.
Okay.
I have been married before, but I'm not married now.
Yeah. Okay. How many years?
Jesus.
He's a good interview.
This is a relationship show, right? You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Peace to JT Coin Rings out there. Peace, brother.
But one thing too, though, I think relationships are not just marriage relationships; they're committed relationships. Not everyone is married is in a relationship. Some people are in relationships and they're not married. So marriage is a construct. Not everyone actually is a part of that. I was married 7 years.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about that. What you just said, though, like some people in committed relationships, but not married. But yeah, we're gonna come back to that one. Let's come back to that.
Well, let me give my joiner shout out. Black Box Radio. I need you guys to like, share, subscribe, hit us up at Black Box Radio. Come check us out. Check our content out. We're on Wednesdays at 7. Check us out on YouTube and all social media.
No doubt. You can put that in the Can't you? Are you able to put that in the chat?
I think I can.
Yeah, you can put that in the chat too. Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. Any other announcements we need to make before we go ahead and get this thing started?
That'll be good.
Dr. Asar?
Okay, I'm on the wrong page. Follow me on all social media platforms. Dr. Dennis Asar Winkler, Dr. Daw. That's YouTube, that's TikTok, and that's Instagram. Facebook, Dennis Asar Winkler. Yeah.
And that brother, I told him the other day on a sneak tip, he got a whole movement going on. You know what I mean? I see him, he over, over giving big interviews, and he got all kinds of film crews and stuff coming. I said, bro, I seen your production the other day. You secretly building a whole YouTube empire going on. You ain't even saying nothing.
Ain't no secret.
Ain't no secret.
Ain't no secret.
It's like the phoenix coming out the ashes. Those ashes from back in 2014 when I had to go into, and come back out.
Oh, okay. Well, you out.
I'm out here on these streets, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, Dr. So look, let's go ahead and start. You want to go right into, into the whole phase, or y'all want to ease into it? You want to go right into it?
He jumps in, bro.
We
All right,
jumps. We gets it in.
all right, let's go ahead. Let's jump in. Go ahead. I'm gonna let you lay the foundation. And y'all do that. I gotta get.
No. You gotta lay the foundation. You called this meeting. You called this gathering.
Thank you.
Actually, I did. You know what I mean? But you was like, Jabari, we need to get.
Okay. So say this. So I didn't. I think you would do a better job of prefacing than I would. But I
Okay.
think that what you did was you did speak to this whole phase that people are normalizing in our community. And so I mean, I just want to just say, you want me to go in like I don't agree with.
No. Hold on.
Okay,
I'm gonna set it
okay.
off like this. I'm gonna set it off with this
Okay.
video. Y'all be patient with me. Hopefully this thing will play. Hold on. Let me set it off with this video right here.
Peace, brother JT.
Forget that we were queens. Some of y'all won't like this video. And I don't even like having to talk about this
Y'all hear that?
because it shows that we've been bamboozled, hoodwinked, left holding the bag. The sexual liberation movement was more hindering than freeing. Let's discuss. The sexual.
Can y'all hear that?
Yes. Loud and clear.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, gotcha.
Scroll down so you can
The
see the
liberation movement arguably began in the 1960s, and it was the second sexual movement in the United States, with the first being in the 1920s in the flapper era. I want you guys to understand just how taboo sex was. It was strange to do anything aside from missionary, and having sexual fantasies and expressing those to your spouse was highly frowned upon. There was no face down, ass up, handstands, sex toys, roses, dildos, tying your partner up, none of that. Sex went from something that was seen as being only used for reproducing and creating a nuclear family to now being seen as something that emphasized our autonomy and in many ways was commodified. As they say, sex sells. The movement was created to remove the guilt or judgment that comes along with freely meeting our sexual needs. There were a lot of key things that happened during this time. The invention of the birth control pill, which led to a decline in condom usage, abortion reform, sexual education in schools, a shift from being a virgin until marriage. Movies were now able to display sexual acts as long as it was rated. And there was a surge in the viewing of porn. And voila, there you have it. The birth of sex being pushed in the media. Now, I think we can all agree that some good things did come out of the sexual liberation movement, but there's a lot of bad as well. Higher STD rates, lower marriage rates, higher divorce rates, out of wedlock children, and higher abortion rates. But aside from those statistics, there were a lot of intangible downsides, and a lot of them were for women.
I think that the sexual revolution from the get-go had downsides for women, because when it comes down to it, men and women are different in some really important ways. And I think we have to find ways of negotiating that rather than denying it.
Ironically, a lot of the sexual liberation movement is tied into feminism. It's this empowering thing. We're breaking away from the patriarchy. Yay! But then we see freedom in being sexually involved with men. It still involves men. Women, we have screwed ourselves royally. We're giving men sex, which is what they wanted the entire time, at a lower price. And I want to be very clear that my viewpoints are not based on seeking approval from men. My concern is that we as women, we are collectively trying to move in ways that don't really benefit us, right? Because we often have more emotional ties when it comes to sex. In the name of liberation and sexual freedom, we're having these casual sexual interactions, and we're not really thinking about how it's going to impact us in the long run. One of the issues that I have with the sexual liberation movement and what it's become is that
I'm gonna stop it there for now. I think she gave it. I think that was a good way to set it off.
Okay.
Dr. Asar, what's your feelings about what the young lady said so far? I think he on mute again.
I realized something. Peace. I realized something doing the show with Queen and listening to videos. I think I might have a little ADHD, but so but she said a lot. You know what I mean? So I can go various places, right? But I will say this, and I know that people don't like when you read sometimes, but I was trying to get my thoughts together as I prepared my mind around this conversation. So I'm just going to read a little bit about some of the thoughts I thought about quickly as I was thinking about this thing called freedom versus liberation. This is how I framed it. Freedom versus liberation. I say, let me preface everything I will say today by stating that as a people, we seek freedom rather than liberation, which is often confusing. And she's talking about this freedom piece, right? So I put here, freedom is the ability to do things one wants without following cultural rules many times. This is how I'm prefacing it. It is our desire to do things without sanctions. This is what I'm saying. We want to do things and we don't want anybody to hold us accountable. And that is part of the issue. So again, I say freedom is the ability to do things one wants without following cultural rules, whereas liberation is a group thing and requires us to create and follow a culture that will serve us individually and collectively. See, when we talk about freedom, we're talking about the individual, and when we're talking about liberation, we're talking about the collective. And I say, and this is how I preface it, and I think I agree with this sister to a degree from what I heard. What I will say is this: a Hoe Phase is a symptom, and this is how I want to preface it. A Hoe Phase is a symptom and not a solution. It exacerbates the problems rather than solve the problem. Again, let me say that again. It exacerbates problems rather than solve problems. I also argue that we are trying to cope with our pain, our stress, our traumas through risky sexual behaviors in an attempt to cope with this by normalizing even our discomfort with this uncontrolled sex by normalizing it because the shame we feel because we participated in it.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh.
Sister Queen.
You said a lot there too, Da. I think to empower oneself doesn't mean you have to utilize your body as a reservoir, because that's what women's bodies are. It collects whatever is being put in it. So I don't know. I think, and when it comes to men, I think that we've used sex as this way of feeling free, as he said, but it's not freedom. If you're mixing with someone, if you're callously moving around, and it could be deadly. So I don't know where the liberation and the freedom comes in, and we throw sex in there. I think it's an act that we want to do, and we would make any excuse to do it. And it sells. It has a monetary movement towards it, and women use it as power. And men also use money as the power. And so it's just, I don't know. It has a lot of nuances, but I think we're very traumatically using sex as a expression and not dealing with our stuff.
Okay. Dr. Saul, what you said, it often causes a lot of problems. This whole thing. Can you go into some of the problems that you think that it actually causes?
Well, let me back up and let me frame what I was saying. I think it's a symptom of other issues. So again, the sexual with multiple partners and quote unquote sexual freedom, from what I'm going to suggest, is a response to trauma, which is a response to oppression, which is a response to depression. I mean, the research, I've done some research before I got here, is a response to stress. We have higher levels of multiple partners, casual sex relationships in more oppressed groups, especially Black people.
Yep.
We have it in people who with higher levels of poverty.
Yep.
So what I'm saying is a symptom of the systems oppression on us. And then what we do is it causes all types of problems such as sexual transmitted diseases. People are using alcohol and higher alcohol levels to have this free sex. So the free sex doesn't come at a cost. So they're drinking alcohol and using drugs so that they can open themselves up to including marijuana, including alcohol, including cocaine, including ecstasy, all types of things. And what I am saying is we, just like all those drugs I mentioned, are trying to find ways to escape our pain, our stress, our anxiety, our depression, and the research supports it. And what I'm saying, even without the research supporting it, it is a problem. And what I find out clinically, without even looking at the research, is that we will normalize a thing when we haven't dealt with the maladaptive that is a maladaptive response. That is a maladaptive way we're trying to cope with all of our hurt and pain and our oppression and all these type of things. I'm not saying there's not anyone out here that's just sexually free, but when we try to make and normalize this as a group thing, it is anti-African, it is anti-cultural for what we practice and we know is healthy in our community, but we try to normalize it by jumping in on white women movements because, you know, which wasn't our problems in the first place.
Right.
And you know what? You're correct. Wherever there's poverty, there's high pregnancy. Wherever people are impoverished, they usually have a lot of third world countries. Usually the population is heavy because of oppression and poverty.
Yeah, and higher sexually transmitted diseases. I didn't say that either. Higher levels of sexual transmitted diseases as a result of casual and multiple partners.
Yep.
And I'm saying when we're doing things casually, when we're doing things that casual and culture are two different things, right? And that's why it's very important. I respect people like Bobby Imhotep and other people, Baruti, Marimba Ani, many people who talk about the importance of culture. Brother Jabari speaks about culture. When casual, being casual is saying, I don't want to follow cultural norms. And this is not to say that cultural norms aren't to be changed, but and it's also what I suggest and argue many times is a pendulum response to how, when we, like, for example, I say parents, sometimes we pendulum parent. I would never, so people say things like, I would never do what my mother did. So because my mother was kind of authoritative, so now I become totally laxed. You see what I'm saying? So the thing is, so now we pendulum become sexually free because in the response we were speaking to last week is that men are the ones who had all this freedom. So now in response, women are to now have their sexual freedom. I am saying in African culture, African tradition, there's always a reason why we're doing a thing. And guess what? That includes relaxation. Because people say, so you need a time to relax? Yeah, relaxation is intentional. It's to help nourish your body. It's to help replenish you. It's self-care and community care is even important in African culture. But you just don't do a thing and it doesn't serve purposes.
One thing I'm gonna say though, you know what we forgot?
What's that?
You said it happens where people are in poverty a lot of times, but that whole phase or whatever happens everywhere. And you know how they have, most people hide it, you know what I mean, in different in other communities. We didn't talk about abortion, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? That comes out of a lot of the whole phase stuff. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? There's a lot of people, you know, they did the documentary. I forgot which one that was, and they say almost, you know, no disrespect when I say this, I'm just quoting, you know, what was said. You know, one of the most dangerous places for a black child to be in is the, you know, is the womb of a black woman. You know, and that was off of what was what was that? That was the what documentary was that? Can't think of it. It's gonna come to me, but it's a very popular the Mayafa. What is that? The Mayafa. It'll come to me. I'm gonna find the mic. Yafa something. But we used to play it all the time, and actually we used to sell it at one particular time. But they talked about, the abortion clinics and many of those different things. So so that comes with this whole phase also, because where a lot of people who go to college, I heard Sister Soldier say that. I heard Sister Soldier say that a long time ago. She said because it was this war where like a lot of women were going to college and stuff. And then there was the black woman who was actually home in the community, and she had like three or four children.
She's important. And she said how important she is. Yeah.
Huh?
She was saying how important that young lady at home having those babies are to the community.
Yeah. She said because she was saying, don't act like you better. She said because this woman stayed home and had her children, and you went to school but had 3 or 4 abortions before you got to school. I was like, ooh, like, but she was just making a point that who's better, that woman who stayed home, with the community, or that one who, who still participated and did some of the same stuff that she was doing, but had those abortions and all, at the same time, So I was just adding in that aspect.
Yeah, and I think you were saying, but also again, that goes back to oppression, right?
Yeah.
I don't care. Like, so oppression, poverty, oppression shows up in various different ways, right? So I don't even care if you have money and you're black, you're experiencing some level of oppression in this country, right? And then also these same people who we talking about, celebrities, they are a part of the weaponry that this society uses to have us wild and unbridled.
I agree. I totally agree with that.
Let me read the statistic while Brother Jabari gets his thing together.
Can I say something for 1 minute?
No, go ahead.
Yeah, because you said something about culture and you said about how sex is a tool, but when we look at, and the culture brings rules to the game, right?
Absolutely.
But when we look at the way sex is being used in society, even when we say our leadership and the folks who are in the power, who are at the top, say the pastor or the leaders of these groups, they usually are using sex as a way to oppress within their groups. And it happens in the church. It happens you look at in the Nation of Islam with, we could talk. Listen, we got to tell the truth. I love Martin King, but he had a sexual perversion. So we see as these leaderships are powerful, they also are very sexual. Jesse Jackson, he had a daughter outside his marriage. So we see this continues to happen with men of power, and so when I hear you say that it has rules, but where were their rules? And they're our leaders. Do you get what I'm saying? How sex can, because we say everybody got a whole phase, but we see our leaders with whole phases. Real talk.
So again, I am not letting anybody off the hook. I don't care who they are.
You don't care who they is.
No, it doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter, and just because they did something, it doesn't wipe out the work they've done. But it also at the same time, that doesn't mean that I'm going to look past that. We are to evolve and be better than those who came before us.
Well,
so some people would utilize that as a means of what is it called, Sister Queen, of supporting, or I can't think of a better word, of why they are okay and stand in their hoism. You understand? So I'm saying that whoever was doing the thing, absolutely, it's a problem regardless. It's a problem, and Brother Jabari and I talked about it earlier. It's a serious problem in organizations. It's a serious problem in our community. It's a serious problem in gangs. I was reading research today that said that in gangs, that they looked at women who have been gang raped within the gangs that they belong to, and lots of time it happens from men who are 5 years or older than them, and they're gang raping young ladies. And what I'm saying is that is a sexual perversion, as you're saying, Queen. And so we have a sexual perverted culture that we live in.
Exactly.
And not African culture. And I'm saying, when I say African, because I know some of y'all gonna say, oh, well, African had things going on too. I am talking about African-centered culture, even if it's the African-centered culture that we created here on this continent. And I know for sure on this continent, the African-centered culture that we created, we are anti sexual perversion. We are anti just be free and sell your sow your oats and all of that type of thing. We say that I'm talking about this African culture that we created, African-centered culture, Afrocentricity, Black, whatever you want to call it. Through that cultural approach, sexual, selling your oats, all whatever you sowing your oats, whatever you want to call it, is not something that we espouse.
Where we learn from? Where we learn from that? Where did this behavior come from? So you said we created something different. Where has it? Why has it? Why is it so pervasive in our communities, in our culture, in our leadership? Why?
Well, you learn it again. It's various ways, and guess what? Again, human beings are very. It's various ways. I can't even say it's only white folk, although the oppression that they created is real, right? But it's also when you are oppressed, right?
Right.
And you know that potentially you won't live too much longer. Your body's in fight and flight mode. You look for self-gratification. So, see, when you oppressed, some of us eat a lot of sugar. Some of us eat a lot of carbs. Some of us take heroin. Some of us want sex all the time. Some of us meditate until we dissociate, till we're no longer here. We do a lot of things to deal with the oppression that we find of this society. So what I am saying is we think that we're doing something that is adaptive, meaning that it's going to have favorable outcomes. But really, when we push sexual freedom, and I'm not, when I say sexual freedom, I'm speaking to loose, wild sex. All we're doing is playing into the hand of the oppressor.
And I tell you this, even when you talk about the whole gang rape culture, being here in Maryland, as Dr. Patricia Newton would talk about, that this was a sex breeding ground here in Maryland, where a lot of bad behavior actually got started, where they would make us, they would make the men sleep with younger women, younger women and their families or whatever, to breed, you know what I'm saying? So she was saying that, like, in Maryland, that's where a lot of, probably a lot of bad behaviors begin in our in our community, because they made us do that at that particular time. So that's something that has to be examined. Actually, we did a whole lecture, and we actually have a whole lecture with Dr. Patricia Newton. What's it called? Early sexual trauma in the Black community. Sexual trauma in the Black community. And it's a classic. It's a classic, and she does a research of just a lot of the trauma that's going on in our community because of the oppression that that we have suffered here in the United States of America. So it's a lot of people that's done research, but we still have these. There was a book called by Ariel Robeson, and I think he goes by another name today, and I think you may have that book. It's called Mayafa and Beyond. Y'all familiar with that book?
I'm not sure if I have that one.
Yeah, it's called Mayafa and Beyond. He got a couple other books too. And he was just talking about, same way Dr. Marema Ani talk about how we would never heal from the early traumas of what was done to us, even back in generations back, that we would never heal from those different things, and now we find ourselves suffering. Especially after coming through the whole enslavement period, where our families were a lot stronger, but now being introduced a lot of these different things, where it's just like, oh, freedom, you know what I'm saying? And actually them breaking up the family, which really, has a hold on our people this day, to this day. So, I really want, I think they may have that book at the warehouse, the Mayafa and Beyond, because he really deals with a lot of stuff. He was a brother who, when we first started, he was actually around in the community, but then he kind of like disappeared. But I would see him on different videos, but he called himself a different name other than Ariel Robeson, but it's an African name that he goes. I'm gonna see if I can find a copy of that book, because I'll send it to you actually.
Well, can I say something too when it comes to when we talk about ladies and women, and how incest has ravaged our families. With a lot of young girls, a lot of women have been touched in their families. And that is, it's something that we don't talk about, but women are, that line that Oprah said in Color Purple, a woman ain't safe around a bunch of men's, and it's true. And it's happening, and I can't talk about other communities, but I know in this community it is happening. It has happened. It's still happening. And then we talk about the freedom part of that. Once you've been touched and unsafe in your own family, in your own home, and how you express that, and how sex is a cavalier action because you've been, you've been traumatized. You, in your own, as a child, being a little girl, you've been touched. And so when you get to this young girl and you've already had the experience of being sexually motivated and everything that goes along with sex, then it's a cavalier action, and it now becomes a tool in your toolbox. It doesn't have the sacred movement. And so we don't talk about, how young girls aren't safe in homes, and the amount of incest and the amount of touching that goes on with girls. And that's not talked about a lot because most of the time males are leading the conversation. But definitely women are having problems at home as girls, and it only mushrooms into something bigger when they become young adults.
Yeah.
Right. Dr. Newton said once that portal is open, even once you abuse, it can become an addiction, at that time, even though there's a confusion of being violated, once it's open, and you get that feeling or whatever for it, it becomes a very confusing thing, which often causes a lot of depression and, suicide and all kinds of things, because it's a confusion. You didn't like it, but at the same time you like it,
I mean, your body reacted to the process, and so now you don't know how to actually deal with these feelings, and we're not talking about that with girls. They're just not safe, and then they're going out in this very sexual world.
Well, let me say this:
scary.
I will not be a part of the ones who do not talk about it, because I talk about it. Right.
Okay, let's talk about
and I'm going to say 1 in 4 Black women report being sexually, in some way, sexually violated.
Absolutely.
Right. Yes. And yes, if something has been stimulated down there at a young age, it becomes a part of your coping process, right?
Absolutely.
And you understand, and it also becomes it is confusing, because also the person who's hurting you you begin to even have some level of desire for this very person.
Apathy. Yes.
And then you also like it's too many women, and I'm saying, they come to me and tell me that the very violator was the only person they could trust out of the whole familial system. And what I mean by that, because this person actually groomed them, and what do they call it, y'all? It's not groom, it's called I can use the word groom for now, but they groomed them and they prepared them to become sexually to violate them and not respond in a negative way, or should have been more a positive way. It's really
like a programming, like a sexual programming. Yeah.
They give them toys, they give them candy, they give them all types of things to win them in, right?
Yeah.
And they don't want to tell. So it's a psychological trauma going on, to emotional trauma, to physical trauma. And then and we can't, and even to go further past that, we can't deny, during our generation, when we were growing up, my sister and I was just talking about this earlier today, the little girls, including girls in my school who were in elementary school sometimes, and were with men 20-year-olds and more. I'm saying I'm talking about 5th graders and 6th graders and definitely high schoolers. And that right there was, they were taken advantage of. And a lot of people, but to get back to what this topic here, though, see, to some degree, if we haven't healed from that, we will normalize the sexual freedom, because we have an addiction now. And then we'll pass that on, and this is what I call hurt people trying to heal people. And what I mean by that, if you haven't healed from your trauma enough, and I'm not coming for it, and I'm not saying this about our sisters or our brothers, I'm saying about all of us. And what I mean is, if we haven't healed in the area that we're trying to help, we end up hurting. Again, if we have not healed in the area where we're trying to help, we will end up hurting others.
This statistic that Dr. Newton gave out was 8 out of 10 women in the community have been sexually molested by somebody in the community, but close people in the community. I'm talking about like family members or neighbors or somebody close to that.
It's a problem.
Yeah.
And that's why the whole phase is not a big deal, because they've already been holed upon.
Right. Now, let me ask you this. So and thinking about the whole phase now, so it seemed like two different things. I mean, because then you have those people who have been touched on and those different things who develop a sexual appetite at an early age. You know what I'm saying? But then there's a promotion though. You know what I'm saying? Of, you know, it's like, yo, go out, get yourself, you know what I'm saying? Go out and do this and go out and do that, go out and do this. You know what I mean? Almost like two different things that's actually going on. Is that two different movements that's going on? I mean, I know it's kind of tied in because, like you said, some people develop it because of because of what happened in their life. And you know what I'm saying?
I think it's a synergy of society. Society is very sexual. What we see is sexual. How we even the commercials, everything that we're digesting has a sexual connotation, and then the things that you're traumatized come into place. It's just a pot of sex, and then you perform it. You start become a performance. You become a part of it. Then you can look at sex on social media now like it's regular. The music, sex is intertwined, and I think we're being bombarded with sex, and it's not even free. It's almost disruptive and malicious to a point because it's everywhere. That's what I see. But and you have to know you have to digest it. I mean, are you going to be a hoe? Are you not going to be a hoe? Where are you going to be?
And again, you know, and I know we said a lot, you know, about women in this, you know, as we were actually talking about it, but men, you know, and the same thing with men who have been violated and different things, you know what I'm saying, in the community also. And, you know, men have, you know, I mean, I don't know if they call them for men. I don't know if they call that a whole phase, you know what I'm saying, for men or whatever they may be calling it. But for men now, you know, it's like a, you know what I'm saying, like, yeah, let me get all I get, you know what I'm saying. So a lot of the brothers give other brothers pass. Hey man, look, get out there, get all you can. Let me tell you something. I done had such and such and such and such and all of that kind of stuff, you know what I mean? And I came out of that culture, you know what I mean, the same way. But when you live a little bit, you know what I mean, I'm almost 50 years old, and you live a little bit and you see all of the problems that come out. You see brothers that got 3, 4, 5 baby mamas, and you know, I don't want to say that term like that, just being funny, you know what I'm saying, but you know, the stress that may come out of that, you know what I mean, to try to handle your children while trying to have a relationship with this woman that sometimes you barely even know, or you know what I mean, a person that you just don't get along with, and you multiply that times 3, 4, the mental stress that you may have as a man, not even just emotionally, but financially. Like, you know what I mean? We talk about, like, you know what I mean, coming up, but you paying $2,000 a month on child support. How can you really ever get yourself together, you know what I mean, with that? You know what I mean? So, you know, a lot of people tell a brother, yeah, man, go out, do this and do that. But they don't tell them about the diseases. They don't tell them about, you know, the children that comes out of that. They don't tell them about the stress that comes out of that. So, you know, why I used to be a person that used to, you know, kind of like, hey, man, yeah, go do such and such and such. And, you know what I mean? And coming out of that type of thinking, you know, I don't even, I would not push that.
You know, the one thing I think we don't talk about, I think all of that is fine, but I don't think children are necessarily inherently a problem. I do think that sexually transmitted diseases are an issue. Child support, that's another issue. That means that they're having children and also not taking care of their children, right? Possibly, right? But I think that one thing that we don't talk about, and I think if we really started to talk about, is how we hurt people. And what happens is we hurt people. And that's what I realized. And and this is why when we're 40 and 35 and 40 trying to settle down, we're struggling because we're dealing with a lot of us who've been hurt in the process. So now we can't trust one another. It's okay until now you trying to settle down at some point, and you don't understand why this person is asking you where you at, why you doing, what's happening, and now you just want to call her crazy, or you want to call him crazy, or whatever it is, because men have been traumatized and women have been traumatized. And then what happens is when you've been traumatized, you're less likely to you struggle with being in a relationship. That is what trauma does to you. Trauma destroys your ability to trust people. And it also destroys your ability to trust yourself even. And hence, so what happens is when you're getting in relationships after you have been playing around with women, and that's why I come for brothers. I used to come for brothers a lot, but I'm coming from a good place because brothers don't even know the trauma that they will cause. I'm telling you this. No one tells them that you're going to hurt this woman. Nobody tells them. They act like, okay, I get caught, I move on, she take me back, but nobody's realizing the reason why you're struggling in your 30s and 40s with having a woman is due to the trauma that you caused somebody else that now is trying to settle down with somebody else. Now, so what I'm saying is we don't talk about what trauma is, what it does, and how it impacts our ability to relate with one another. So we're hurting people in the process. And then when we come into counseling rooms telling the woman to just get past it. Just move on. Why you keep going back? Why you keep talking about yesterday? Bro, you just stick your in somebody else, and now she's traumatized by it, but you want her to move on. You want her act like it ain't happened. You think that is that easy. Let her do that to you. And I've seen a brother, I had a couple in this place. And this is years ago. And the brother cheated on the woman. In fact, they got together out of a relationship that they were cheating on their other partners with. And now they couldn't trust each other. Then she found out that he was cheating. Then they tried to move past that, and then they end up wanting to go to a swingers bar, and then he was smashing somebody. Excuse my language. I mean, no. She decided to let somebody go down on her, and then the other person's partner came in and started hitting her from the back, and then he went over there and started a fight because he couldn't deal with it. But he decided to take his woman to a swingers bar, and they didn't even have rules in what they would and would not do when they were there. And that is the problem. Even you didn't even have rules of how that would look. But when you go into a swingers bar, you signed up already for it. They give you papers. I never been in one, but I learned a lot from sitting on those couches. You understand what I'm
saying? I'm about to ask, like,
I'm just telling you, it's an honor, it's a privilege to sit and walk with people through their stuff.
Wow.
So it causes trauma. That's what we really like. It causes trauma, and not only on the woman, it causes trauma on the offspring. It causes trauma even to yourself. It causes trauma.
Yeah, I mean, and like you said, they get together. They had these children. You said the children maybe not the problem, but it is the problem with the children because these two people together. And they not getting, a lot of times they not getting along with each other.
No,
and
I said innately, children are not a problem.
Yeah. No. Children, not. Yeah.
So I just want to be clear. What I didn't say is it doesn't cause a problem with children. In fact, I said it cause a problem with children, but children are not the problem. You should have sex and have children. Yes, go, but take care of them children and take care of that woman.
Yeah. But we've been a part of, it's that whole formula. You go to the club, like you said, they get that drink, they get that smoke. You got, what I'm saying? You got 50 cents, you can find me in the club, bottle, you know what I mean? You start loosening up, you know what I mean? And people get those spirits in them, as you would say, I ain't judging, you know what I'm saying? I drink a little while myself, I'm just saying that, you know what I mean? But this is what happens, you get those spirits in you, you know what I mean? Somebody may be feeling a certain way, dealing with some tough times at the job, feeling with some tough times here, or dealing with some emotion, and they get out in that club and they get to dancing and, you know what I mean? And grind, you know what I mean? And next thing you know, like, what you doing when you leave here? Could be the same night, could be 2 nights later, could be 2 weeks later, you know what I'm saying? However, you know what I'm saying? They wind up hooking up. And you know what I'm saying, out of that whole spirit, out of that whole vibe and spirit that was created that's inside of that club, you know, they leave out. I mean, you know,
But
come on,
there's
we know we've
implications
been.
to that behavior. That's okay if you want to do that, but there's implications to it. You know, I think that because you're dressing it up, you're having fun, and all of that's come together, but there's still implications.
Right.
And if you're grown up and you want to do all of that, that's good. But you have to be grown when the kids come. You got to be grown when it's after all of the spirits are gone, and then reality comes in front of it. Like reality speaks.
Yeah,
Real
I
talk.
mean, no,
So
definitely. You're right. I mean, you know, and like you said, I mean, you know, having a good time and doing different things or whatever, you know, things happen. But just know, like you said, when you participate, you know what I'm saying, things happen. And just because you may wear a condom or whatever, they bust.
participate, you might
They bust, they
impersonate.
come, they come off. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, just different thing. Everything don't always go as planned. So I'm just saying that, you know, I mean, when you build, I mean, like I said, you know, we human. But when you build a whole culture around, you know what I'm saying, like stick and move. Hey, look, all right, you just broke up with your man. You know what? You need to get out there for a while. You need to get out there, go enjoy yourself, man. Go up there and do as much and much as you need to do. You know what I'm saying? But they don't tell people again about the, you know, about the mental strain that starts to have. You know what I'm saying, on a woman and on a man. You know what I'm saying? After a while, you know, on both parties. Oh, that's all I'm saying. So I'm not coming before, because some people may be listening like, oh, I know Jabari on there. Man, he hating. You know what I mean? He hating on the side. He hating. No, I'm not hating. I'm just talking about, like, I see that our community is suffering right now. I see the community is suffering, and I'm concerned for all, you know what I mean, for us as a community. You know, I got 5 children. You know, I got my oldest daughter be 24 this year. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And why they've been able, you know what I'm saying, she's been in a pretty committed relationship for a couple years and all, but you know, it just caused some concern what's going on out there in the community. You know what I mean? So we got people preaching to the boys, man, look, don't settle down, man. Hey, look, man, you know what I mean? Shoot, wait till you get at least to your 30s, man. Go out there. There's so many women out there. It's so many women out there, you know, and they getting that teaching from their uncles, their fathers. You know, of course, they're getting the teaching from the music, because, you know what I mean? And if the teaching you're getting from the music is straight up, is straight up from enslavement. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Hey, choke this, you know what I'm saying? Drug them up, you know what I mean? You know, and I put the stuff in a drink, she ain't even know it, you know, you know, all kinds of stuff. So I'm just saying, we gotta do better. We have to do better in our community.
Again, though,
not going along with this stuff.
Again, though, I would, and I don't think y'all mean it, but it's not good. Again, I think that it's all good until, like Sister Queen said, but it's not even good. It's not good. It's poor culture. It does nothing but set us up for problems. It's not good. In the club, sipping the bud, whatever it is, it's problematic. And I know we would justify it because we out here doing it. And the problem is we struggle with identifying that we might be participating in some things that are just not healthy. And it's okay. We all do it. We all participate in things that aren't healthy at times. But once you realize that it's not healthy, then it is incumbent upon you to change something. So we deal with cognitive dissonance because we don't want to change our behaviors. But at least say, you know what? Look, I know people smoke cigarettes, and they struggle to tell you that it's something wrong with smoking cigarettes because they don't want to deal with that feeling. You understand? But then there's others who are really honest and realize, you know what, cigarettes are not good for you. And I would not suggest that you not smoke cigarettes. Although I smoke cigarettes, I am addicted to cigarettes, they will say. And it causes me money, it's causing me health, it's causing me all types of things. And I will suggest you not do it because it's a struggle for me to kick that habit. So I think that it's important for us to look within and identify these issues within us. Even if we can't change them, but really fight past the desire to rationalize it being unharmful when it's being harmful. And even when we talk about this alcohol, study harmful alcohol use and alcohol-related sex expectancies as predictors of risky sex among African-American female college drinkers. And we talked about adolescence and this extended adolescence time frame that we get in this country called the United States. It says here that results indicated that combined sexual risk-taking and I'm sorry, y'all. Disinhibition. I can't even say the word today.
Inhibitions.
Thank you. Inhibition. Thank you. This inhibition, right? Alcohol-related sex expectancies predicted both typical weekly drinking and harmful alcohol use. In addition, enhancement alcohol-related sex experiences and harmful alcohol use predicted risky sexual behavior. And why I'm saying all that to say, it's a cycle. And you talking about in the club sipping bub, right? See, why we gotta be in the club sipping bub? Because we gotta loosen up. It's unnatural for us to even do some of these things, so we gotta loosen up to do it.
We gotta get out of our own self. This is a scary conversation when a lot of times, because society's flipping. I mean, we see women are more present, especially in the rap game, and some of them are really the sexy reds, and I've got these ladies are out here, and now women are more aggressive. And so it's not just the guys who are the aggressive. They're knocking down notches too. And so we see this behavior has flipped. It's not particularly just men going out here like, nah, don't get married. That's women like, listen, I'm trying to do this, and they're aggressive. And that's what trauma does. It flips on everyone. And now we see women are very aggressive in society with men. And they're not looking to be in relationships. They're looking to get what they can get, and keep it moving. And so we see this with women too. So this thing that we're doing, I think, when this sex these freedoms, they're not freedoms, they're traps. Because it traps us in all of the systems. It traps us in either the healthcare system with the STDs, or we get trapped into the child support system where we're fighting for our very life, or we're trapped in the mental health system where we're fighting for our mental stability. So it messes with your physical, it messes with your mental, and it's just for 5 or 6 minutes. Maybe you might get 10 or 20, but listen, it's not worth it. That we got to look at the bigger picture, and what we call free is usually traps. It's a trap in society, because they got something set up for your freedom. As soon as you get a gun for free, shoot somebody, you going to jail.
Can I say
everything free? Go ahead.
This is for Brother Jabari, and this is from a research article in 2022. And this is entitled "How Economic Stress Impacts Risky Sex Among African American Adolescents." Again, we're talking about adolescence, even this extended adolescence period. So one, it says stress is a predictor for multiple sexual partners, aka risky sexual behaviors. 2, this is the one, in single mother households, maternal psychological distress continue to have a positive effect on adolescent risky sex, even after taking into account the impact of parenting behaviors. What is that saying?
Oh, you going to break it down?
Okay.
Okay.
Right. I'm going to read it very slow though. In single mother households, and again, y'all know I ain't about beating no mother up. I'm saying somebody should be there with her. You dig? Somebody should be there with her. And all these playing games that you talk about, Jabari, creates these single mothers. Look, the single mothers ain't create themselves. This culture is problematic, but what it just happened to be that the mother is rearing these children because for whatever reason, right? Most of the time. But in single mother household, maternal psychological distress continue to have a positive effect, meaning that it leads to adolescent risky sex behavior. Meaning that it is a correlation there. When you have a single mother who is stressed, the children are likely to engage in risky sexual behavior, multiple partners.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely true. A lot of times, living with that single mom, she probably has 2 jobs. A lot of times, so the freedom that the child has, with the phone and being on Instagram and all those different things that we didn't have back in those days, and they introduced to sex very, very early, very, very early now, much earlier than we were back in the day.
But and it's
So-
also, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
And it's also highlighting the fact that we have to look at this point that they're saying stressed. So if your mother or your parents are stressed, it's going to cause stress within the children.
Exactly.
And then children are going to go out and they're going to do things to help cope with that stress. And sex is a very natural thing.
Yeah.
What else do they have?
Yeah, sex is a very natural thing. And in our society, which act like children aren't going to have sex, we set ourselves up.
Yep.
We act like adolescents aren't going to have sex. Adolescents are built to have sex. I'm sorry to tell you that. You understand that when they get to a certain age, some things start working. People who have mental conditions will find a way to have sex if no one taught them. You understand? Sex is a very natural thing that we try to distort. But the problem is not the sex. The problem is not the mother. The problem, and this article goes on and says this. I'm going to just close it up here. It says, overall, the results suggest that economic stress ripples through the family system, increasing adolescent risky sexual behaviors through its negative impact on family processes, highlighting the need for systemic policy changes rather than individual level intervention. So that means that we have to change the system, and cultures address systemic issues. We have a failing of we're adopting this mainstream Eurocentric culture that doesn't work for them, and we're having all types of issues. Sexual freedom, sexual multiple partners, a lot of things. I am telling you, people will, and I'm not blaming the people, but oppression will create all types of ideas in your mind. So if this doesn't work, maybe I'll do this. If that doesn't work, then I'm going to do this. And I don't blame us, because we don't want to be alone. We want to feel good. We're tired of the stress. I don't blame us. But but we also have to understand what the setup is.
It's traps.
Definitely. Definitely. I mean,
Hoe Phase is a trap, yo.
What you say?
She said it's
Hoe
a trap.
Phase is a trap. It's a trap. If you fall into it, and you have, once you fall in, you got a whole bunch of other stuff to consider, and you fall into these systems that they've set up around your behaviors.
Yep.
That's it.
I mean, so look, I'm gonna say this right here. We do have, let me see, I don't have it queued up. I'm about to do this the gangster way, you know what I'm saying? Because I couldn't queue it up. But that's what the Nori Muhammad joint coming up next Friday. You know what I mean? So y'all can hit me, anybody that's interested in this right here. Anybody ever heard Brother Nori? He does an excellent presentation talking about Black men, but Black women, but Black male and female relationships. So, you know what I mean? You want to come out, family. And then also we have, this guy right here, that you may know. Oh,
make sure you put some respect on that guy's name. Make sure
Dr. Saw, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
That guy
with the grizzly beard, they say, you know what I'm saying? You know, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, you know what I mean? But this is going to be not a lecture.
That's
not a lecture, man. This is a workshop. So we're going to be doing workshops along with lectures at the same, that's one new thing that we're doing with Reality Speak. So we want to, just, sometimes we'll have the lectures, then the lectures are there to give the general overview of a particular topic, general overview. And then we want to go into workshops where we actually coming together and we working to actually make a difference, to solve some problems within our community. So
what date was that?
The date for the for Dr. Saw is Sunday, June the 23rd.
Okay.
And that's going to be 11 a.m. to 3. And you can be single, or you could be a couple actually and come out to this event. So this is not just for couples, but it's for single people also. And the date for the Nori is Friday the 14th. That's Father's Day weekend, Juneteenth weekend also. And so it's gonna be on and popping here in Tubman City. So we want y'all to like the YouTube page, comment, hit the thumbs up, all those different things. We want y'all to do that. Continue, because we're gonna continue to come with you with this information. But before we get out of here, is there anything else that y'all want to go into before we get up out of here? Sister Queen, did you want to bring up anything else?
Don't be a hoe, y'all. Real talk. We're not saying sex is bad. We're saying that there's a process to it, and every behavior has implications. And if you want to be in the hoe phase, then you got to understand that there's some traps around that hoe phase for sure.
Right.
And so that's something that you got to consider. And if it's not helping you or even your community, why are we doing it?
Right.
Yeah, so we gotta work on some stuff. So,
and just as a promotion, though, I'm just saying, like, for people that's just been promoting it to people going through hurt and pain, hey, look, go out there and do such and such and such, and you promoting people to go do that, and knowing that, you know what I'm saying, like, I mean, yeah, if you could do it, and you know what I'm saying, and things don't happen and different things like that, but you can't guarantee that. That's all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? You can't guarantee that somebody's not gonna get pregnant. Can't guarantee.
Watch who you getting advice from.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Seriously, you know what I'm saying? So, so just be careful to not have it as just a promotion, you know what I'm saying, and telling people to do that. Because us as men, I mean, we used to do it all the time. You know what I'm saying? Hey, bro, you sit here worried about one girl? You serious, bro? All these girls right here, you see down the street right there? We in a mall right now, and you worried about what? You sad? Come on, bro. You acting just like you know what I mean? You acting like a sucker right now, man. Bro, all these women out here. I'm just saying, you know what I mean? So we've all participated in those conversations and doing that, you know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, as you put an analysis to it, it's like, nah, man, I can't promote that, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I got a son, and I'm like, I gotta be, hey, look, little Barry, let me tell you, I'm gonna tell you like this, you can go out here and do whatever, blah, 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 blah. Let me tell you what's gonna happen what can possibly happen if you do that. And I'm going to lay it all down to them, lay it all out to them or whatever. Now, sometimes you can't stop people from doing stuff. All you can do is just put the warning out, but I'm not going to come to them in promotion of it. Hey, little boy, man, hey, look, man, handle your business, man. Handle your business. You know what I'm saying? That's what we do. That's where our family come from. So I'm just saying, I'm not promoting that. I'm going to say, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm telling him why he shouldn't be doing that so that he'll know in general, because too many people actually promote this culture instead of, giving them the real facts about things and how much trouble.
And I want to say the gender thing too, and I'm glad I'm hearing the gender thing because, one time males were the hunters, but women are hunting real hard out here. These youngsters, they hunt. And so we have to be able to have these real conversations with young ladies too. And definitely talk about these aggressive behaviors that they succumb to because, that says the year of the woman. And so I think that this conversation need to be had to girls and to boys, and especially girls too, when we speak about the incest that women are dealing with.
Right.
And not that boys aren't neither, but it's very prevalent with girls. So I think these conversations are nuanced now. It used to be you tell your boy one thing and tell the girls another thing, but everybody
exactly.
I like that anymore.
No, it's like you tell them both at the same time. You know what I mean? Like,
because this is not a nuanced conversation anymore. It's like everybody's doing everything.
Yeah.
And so we gotta really have real conversations with our young people and tell them the truth. And then also the implications of this behavior. We talk about the fun part, but we don't talk about that child support when you get $25 after you work 40 hours.
Sister Queen, you kind of hinted to it a little bit, and I guess we won't even go there because that's a whole nother conversation. I mean, it's the same conversation, but a whole nother conversation.
What's that?
When you start talking about women getting, notches under their belt, you know what I'm saying? Which, people start talking about the body count, you know what I'm saying? That's a whole, you know what I'm saying? I've seen whole shows that got, you know what I mean? Like whole conversation about, what's too many, you know what I'm saying? Like how many is too many for a man to have? How many is too many for a woman to have? You know what I'm saying? And you know what I mean? And you start going into that whole conversation.
Well, I said the youth dating shows with the rappers, the first thing they ask the girl is, what's your body count?
Yeah.
They expect for these young ladies to have body counts. That's how you get the mindset. Like, wow.
Yeah.
Like, not are you virginal or how you dating? What's your body count? That means you already hitting. It's a whole new conversation, and we got to really technology has moved everything. It also needs to move our sexual conversations.
Yeah. So
Doc?
Doc, what you got to say? And
Well, y'all just started a new show.
I know. We might have to hold that one, man. Yeah, I heard her saying it out. You know what I mean? So
yeah, but I want to impress upon the family to know, you see, I don't have any opponents on here, but you still saw that passion come out of me, right? See, I'm not arguing with anybody. I know I got a little animated, because when I get animated about things, when I see our people falling prey in the hands of oppression, thinking they're doing something else. You understand? So when I see us believe that we're freeing ourselves, I just want us to really continue to think about freedom versus liberation. Where freedom, in the sense that that's an individual act, I can do what I want to do, which, as Queen said, it ultimately many times sets you up for failure. You think you're doing a thing, but really is you're practicing unbridled sex. You don't want to practice discipline. And it's okay. And I want to let you know, I am not coming for you, because I understand we all struggle with things. Yeah. But I do want us to ask ourselves and reflect about what is really going on, rather than trying to continue to rationalize our unbridled behavior, to rationalize our lack of discipline, to rationalize our addictions due to the unhealed traumas. I'm asking us to really look at it and really look at it in a deep way that can lead to true liberation even within you. Because as long as we rationalize these maladaptive behaviors in us, we are also imprisoned within ourselves. So free yourself by not rationalizing these behaviors that are maladaptive and don't work for you. So again, on the other hand, that freedom is one thing and is an individual thing, which often, again, leads to poor outcomes. But liberation as a community and a collective thing. And I know sometimes that's hard to hear, because a lot of times the hurt has to do with hurt that has happened from others, especially people in our families. But again, I'm asking that we study. I'm asking that we heal. I'm asking that we forgive. I'm asking that you understand the plight of our people in the systemic structure that we find ourselves in, so that we can heal collectively and move forward to having put more energy in liberational activity. Peace.
No doubt. Look, the thing that I said earlier,
Jabari, you supposed to have some daggone bombs, some fire, some wells. He gonna just say, all right, let's keep it going.
See, when y'all come on, man, y'all got club music, man. Y'all got, you know what I mean? Y'all doing all, you know what I mean? Like y'all dancing, y'all partying. I ain't got none of that yet, man. You know, I ain't got the bombs and stuff yet. I got some, but I gotta know how to play.
But I want people. I see how you. But I really want to say though, I want to slow down there though, and I'm saying in closing, because the way you just kind of went to the next thing, I'm trying to say that's supposed to simmer.
Look, hold on one second.
I'm coming for you, bro.
let me do this real quick. The thing I talked about earlier today, that's called Mayafa 21. If y'all remember, it's called Mayafa 21.
Okay,
genocide in the 21st century. In 21st century America. So that's what it is, called Mayafa 21.
Okay.
I don't know. Like I said, we used to sell it. We did used to sell it. I don't know if they still have it available or where they have it available at, but that was a very popular documentary, and it dealt with Planned Parenthood and things of that.
I remember that
during that time. Yeah, so that was very, very popular during that time. Doc, real quick, because I heard I was watching Brother Rich channel the other day, and they promoting an event that they got going on, and he stopped and he promoted it for a long time. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? And you know what I mean? In between, he said, this going to be the event. It's going to be the biggest event that I ever put on, the biggest event, and blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? So look, I want people that's out, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to minimize what we got going on. I don't want to minimize what's going on with
Jabari's Relationship League.
with the relationship league. There you go. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to minimize what we got going on with the workshop that we got going on. Can you just, and you know what I mean, just tell people like a little something of what's going to be going on, what's going to help them to, you know, for those that's single, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are they going to be getting? What's going to, you know, man, it's going to be helping them to be able to get more focused and finding a mate. Is it going to be for the couples? Like, you know, what is it? What's some of the things that's going to be touched upon on that in that workshop?
So the reality is, thank you, Brother Jabari, and I appreciate that. And I appreciate for you having me and us doing this together, right? But what I do want to say is this. I'm just going to start with the title. The title of the event is Empowering Black Male-Female Relationships. And that's the main title. But I want us to look at the subtitle. The subtitle is Understanding Self and Partner for Lasting Prosperity. So the main key, if you have a partner or not with you currently, is understanding yourself. So was a part of this workshop, which is really an expense that we're taking a loss on. Really, like the workshop itself, it costs less than one who will give you a personality profile in general. So what we're asking for it is cheaper than what you will, you'll sit with a clinician and they'll give you a personality profile. So it's $125, and Jabari got all types of discounts coming up and things of that nature. But what I want to say is this: you're going to get a you're going to get a personality test, a real personality test, not under this junk that's out there that people are selling you. I'm talking about the 5-factor model, which is scientifically the most thorough personality test out there, with all types of scientific support that will tell you about you. It's going to tell you about who you are. It's going to tell you how you operate. Why? It's going to tell you all the things that you may know and some of the things you may not know. And it's going to tell you how you engage and interact and relate with people. And if you bring your partner, you're going to see their personality. And one thing about personality why it's important is that personality is what we call a rigid construct. And what it means is people are who they are because they are who they are. But sometimes we can find out, when we find out who we are, then we can find out how we can adjust ourselves to be befitting in a relationship. Because lots of times we don't see ourselves in relationships. We can only see the other person trying to change them. And one thing about personality, I'll give you a tip, is people's personalities don't just change like that. And they just don't change across the board in general. We can adapt, adjust, do some things once we're conscious of it. But people on, a person who is, let's say, more, what's the word, y'all? Let's say outgoing is not going to just become shy, and the person that's shy is just not going to become outgoing. You might see a shy person kind of start pushing themselves to be outgoing, but it's still that part of them that's still there. They can feel that push. So yeah, be there. It's going to be powerful. You're going to learn.
It's an investment, family. Like it's an investment. I mean, many of us, from week to week, we go out to the crab house and buy crabs. Crabs can run you about, $115, $125, $150 a dozen. You know what I'm saying? So,
you good, bro. You good.
No, I'm saying
you real. You good. You good.
It's an investment for real. You know what I'm saying? And I know we laugh and we joke about it, but it's an investment. You know what I mean? Are we, trying to bring you in, do we make a profit from things? Of course, just like anybody. I had people question me through the years, like, how can you charge for information? How can you charge for a lecture, for people to come out to get information, and I'd be like, man, are you serious? Do you know that, when you do a lecture, it ain't free. I got to pay for the space. You got to pay the actual person that's doing the presentation. You got to pay for the cameraman. You got to pay, you got to pay for the flyers to be done. If you got any meeting, like there's so many different aspects of the whole thing. And if this is what you do for a living, of course you want to make a profit from it. A lot of times we do the events, I would say I've been doing events for 29 years. You know what I'm saying? And it's probably, I've made profit from these events, but it's probably like 50-50. You know what I'm saying? But with those with
Hey,
you know, you could Dr. Saw tell you I've had events where I've had like 2 or 3 people, you know, and I've had events where I've had hundreds and hundreds of people.
but can I say this? This is an underpriced event.
Yeah,
You ain't got to go on the whole I mean, and I get you, but this is an underpriced event, and part of it is due to the resources that we have at our avail,
right,
as well. So
right.
you know, so this is an underpriced event. So, but I get you, brother Jabari.
Yeah, no. I just, you know, what I mean, most of the events we do too are underpriced, especially what people charge. You know, what I'm saying what they want for honorariums and you know, and different things. You know, what I'm saying. So you know, we always try to make it affordable. We always try to make it. You know, what I'm saying, like you said, because you know, when the people come out to do the presentation, our lecturers, our scholars, they some of them do this for a living. Some of them do this as a part-time job. So it's not a thing where they say, "Hey, I'm coming for free." I'm coming for free unless you that guy named
Dr. Jared Ball. He always
let me not
comes
mess
for
with
free.
You, let me not mess with your homeboy today. You know what I'm saying? But
Dr. Jared Ball is always free. Power to the people.
That's because he get the money.
Hold on.
Okay. All right.
Not on my watch.
Hey, Jared, you know what it is, man. You know, it's going down. It's going down. You already know. Anyway. Hey, look, it's always love for Dr. Jared Ball, man. It's always love. You know what I'm saying? You know, we just got had that debate coming up. You know what I mean? That's all. It's going down. Man. So anyway, family, we thank you for joining us. We glad that Sister Queen could join us here today. So we can have that.
How y'all say yes?
So we can have that feminine energy.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate that. You know what I mean? Because we ain't want to just be on here just as 2 men just dominating the conversation. So we're glad you can bring in some energy with us here today. And we appreciate you, family, for joining us. And we will be here tomorrow. Now, you know, tomorrow we'll be in and we'll be a little more turned up, man. Them guys was turned up last week, man. You know, he's turned up on the real barbershop conversations now. Y'all know when y'all get in there, you know what I'm saying?
Give me some flack, though. Don't beat me up too much tomorrow. Don't beat me up too much.
Them brothers a lot more, you know what I mean, animated from the barbershop, you know what I mean? And they go in. That's all I'm saying. So y'all join us tomorrow. We'll be on tomorrow. I think y'all show us tomorrow, right?
No. I got 2 things. Can I do a shout out?
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. So tomorrow I have a Kill Parker. All This Math. He's having a summer camp in Baltimore. It's free math camp for 6th to 12th grade.
You're talking about a Kill with the poetry?
No, Kill
Parker. Different. Okay.
No, he actually lives in Philly, but he's from Baltimore. Okay. But he has a business called All This Math, and so he has a math camp coming up for free. So we're going to talk about that and the type of resources he's bringing to West Baltimore this summer for Black youth. And so I have him on tomorrow at 7. So please come through, check us out. And if you look on our story, we posted about it today. So that's 7 p.m. Black Box Radio, YouTube. Hit us up, come through. And I also want to say, when my mentor died this morning, lady Miss Sally, and I want to say peace to her and peace.
Sorry to hear that. My condolences.
She became an ancestor this morning.
My condolences. Yeah.
And I want to definitely shout out. She's always been so supportive of me, and so I wanted to say her name.
Ashe.
And that's it.
Ashe. All right, so we'll be on tomorrow about actually, so this show goes off probably about we'll be on tomorrow about 8:30 tomorrow with the real barbershop conversation. Yeah. Okay.
So since y'all going at it, I got this week coming up. We do every 2nd and 4th Saturday of the month from 6 to 9. Every 2nd and 4th Saturday of the month from 6 to 9 at TNet Holistic Wellness Center, 5525 Harford Road. We have our community university open mic and a lecturer that's a part of this open mic. This week we'll be having none other than the brother Tahaka Bey speaking on Unveiling Islam. He's saying that Islam is a Pan-African tradition for African liberation. I know y'all might want to debate. Look, I always tell people come out and have the real intellectual debates, but y'all don't want to show up. But look, you come out and let's have the talk. Respectfully, let's talk. Then then I also have I have a special community university event next Saturday with Brother Sankofa. We bringing a lecture about Juneteenth, a Juneteenth lecture celebration about healing through African history and other things. And then on the 22nd of this month, which is the fourth Saturday, we're going to have a kill here in Baltimore. You might have to fly up, Queen. You know what I mean? So we're gonna have a Kill Parker here. Brother is brother. All the brothers here are genius. But I'm going to say most of y'all know Brother Sankofa and so on and so forth, and Brother Tahaka Bey. But Brother Kill's a very genius brother. I really appreciate his way of articulating mathematics. Brother Sankofa, same thing with history and healing, and then also Brother Tahaka Bey. Y'all already know the brother. He gonna drop it. I see y'all.
We got a lot of stuff going on. I love it.
A lot going on. Baltimore, Tubman City. We doing it. We coming back out of this whole COVID thing, man. I mean, that slowed things down. It slowed things down a lot. Especially us coming together. Coming together. Without being on the internet. But all the events that we talk about will be on the internet also. You know what I'm saying? So even the shop that we have, that will be live stream. For those people who can't make it here to town, y'all family, y'all know how we do, you know what I'm saying, with Reality Speaks and with the work that, Sister Queen is doing and Dr. Asar is doing, hey, Baltimore, we on the rise. We on the rise, for real. And so let's continue to do this. We hope that y'all have a great rest of your night. And, and we will see y'all tomorrow with the Real Barbershop Conversations, and peace.
Peace, family.
Peace.